The house at 1342 Oakwood Drive erupted in flames at 11:47 p.m. on September 14, 2023. The fire so intense that neighbors 3 blocks away could see the orange glow against the night sky. Inside the burning structure, firefighters would discover 3 bodies arranged in what appeared to be a deliberate pattern in the living room, each victim showing signs of trauma that occurred before the fire started. The victims were identified as 45-year-old construction contractor Marcus Wellington, his 17-year-old daughter's best friend, Sophia Clara, and Wellington's wife of 20 years, Patricia Wellington. Each had been bound with zip ties and positioned facing each other in a triangle formation, surrounded by gasoline-soaked furniture and personal belongings that had been deliberately arranged to accelerate the flames. What made this case particularly disturbing was the discovery of a smartphone wedged between the couch cushions, its memory card containing footage that would expose the explosive secret that led to 3 deaths. The phone belonged to 17-year-old Emma Wellington, who had been using it to film a school project about family dynamics just days before the fire. The footage accidentally captured her father Marcus in a compromising situation with her best friend Sophia, setting in motion a chain of events that would destroy an entire family. The fire had been set using multiple accelerants placed throughout the house, with the perpetrator taking care to ensure maximum destruction of evidence. However, the killer had made one crucial mistake. They had failed to locate Emma's phone, which contained not only the incriminating footage, but also text messages and digital evidence that would reveal the true extent of the conspiracy that led to the murders. Emma Wellington had been at her part-time job at the local movie theater when the fire occurred, providing her with a solid alibi. But investigators would soon discover that Emma's absence from the house that night was not coincidental, and that the teenager had played a far more significant role in the events, leading to the fire than anyone initially suspected. The case would expose a web of betrayal, manipulation, and revenge that had been building for months beneath the surface of what appeared to be a typical suburban family. The smartphone footage would serve as the key piece of evidence in unraveling a murder plot that shocked the quiet community of Riverside Heights and revealed the dark secrets that can lurk behind closed doors. Riverside Heights was a well-established suburban community in Northern California, populated by middle-class families who had moved to the area seeking good schools and safe neighborhoods. The Wellington family had lived on Oakwood Drive for 12 years, occupying a modest 2-story house with a well-maintained lawn and white picket fence that epitomized the American suburban dream. Marcus Wellington, 45, owned a successful construction company that specialized in home renovations and commercial buildings. He was known throughout the community as a reliable businessman who employed local workers and contributed to various charitable causes. Marcus had built his company from the ground up after moving to California from Ohio, establishing himself as a respected member of the community. Patricia Wellington, 43, worked as a high school guidance counselor and was beloved by students and colleagues for her compassionate approach to helping teenagers navigate academic and personal challenges. She had met Marcus in college and had been married to him for 20 years, raising their daughter Emma while maintaining her career in education. Emma Wellington, 17, was a senior at Riverside Heights High School who maintained excellent grades. While working part-time at the local movie theater, she was involved in the school's film club and had aspirations of studying cinematography in college. Emma had been best friends with Sophia Clara since middle school, and the 2 girls were inseparable, spending most of their free time together at each other's homes. Sophia Clara, 17, was the daughter of successful tech entrepreneurs who had immigrated from Taiwan when she was young. She excelled academically and was planning to attend Stanford University the following year. Sophia spent considerable time at the Wellington house, often staying for dinner and sometimes sleeping over on weekends when her parents were traveling for business. The fire at 1342 Oakwood Drive began in the living room, where accelerants had been poured throughout the space and ignited simultaneously from multiple points. Fire investigators determined that gasoline had been used as the primary accelerant, with additional flammable materials strategically placed to ensure rapid spread of the flames. The fire burned so hot that it consumed most of the first floor before firefighters could gain control. When emergency responders arrived at the scene, they found the house fully engulfed in flames with no signs of life. Neighbors reported that they had not heard any screams or calls for help, leading investigators to suspect that the victims had been incapacitated before the fire started. The intensity of the blaze prevented immediate entry, forcing firefighters to battle the flames from outside for nearly 2 hours. The first body discovered was Marcus Wellington, found in the center of the living room with his hands bound behind his back with zip ties. He had suffered blunt force trauma to the head, with forensic analysis later revealing that he had been struck multiple times with a heavy object. The positioning of his body suggested he had been killed elsewhere and then moved to the living room. Patricia Wellington's body was found near the fireplace, also bound with zip ties and showing signs of strangulation. The medical examiner determined that she had been killed approximately 2 hours before the fire started, based on the condition of her remains and the pattern of burn damage. Her positioning indicated that she had been placed deliberately to face the other victims. Sophia Clara's body was discovered near the front window, bound and showing evidence of sexual assault that had occurred before her death. The forensic examination revealed that she had been killed by strangulation, with defensive wounds on her hands suggesting she had fought against her attacker. Like the other victims, she had been positioned deliberately as part of the killer's arrangement. The crime scene investigation revealed that the killer had spent considerable time in the house before starting the fire. Personal belongings had been moved throughout the rooms. Family photographs had been arranged around the victims, and furniture had been repositioned to create clear paths for the flames. The methodical nature of these preparations suggested careful planning and a personal connection to the victims. Investigation of the house's exterior revealed that the killer had disabled the security system and had entered through the back door using a key. There were no signs of forced entry, indicating that the perpetrator had legitimate access to the property. The killer had also disabled the smoke detectors and cut the phone lines, ensuring that the fire would burn undetected for as long as possible. Physical evidence at the scene included footprints in the backyard that matched a specific brand of sneakers, tire tracks in the alley behind the house, and fingerprints on the gasoline containers used to start the fire. The killer had made some effort to avoid leaving evidence, but had not been entirely successful in covering their tracks. Investigation also revealed that the killer had been searching for something specific in the house. Drawers had been pulled out, closets had been searched, and electronic devices had been moved or damaged. The pattern suggested that the killer was looking for particular items or documents, possibly related to the secret that had triggered the murders. Emma Wellington's absence from the house during the fire immediately made her a person of interest. Her supervisor at the movie theater confirmed that she had been working her scheduled shift from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. on the night of the fire, providing her with an apparent alibi. However, investigators noted that she had specifically requested to work that evening, despite normally having Thursdays off. The discovery of Emma's smartphone in the burned house provided the first major clue about the motive for the murders. The phone had been hidden between couch cushions and had survived the fire due to its protective case and the way the furniture had collapsed around it. The device contained footage, text messages, and digital evidence that would prove crucial to understanding what had happened. Detective Rachel Morrison arrived at the crime scene at 12:30 a.m. and immediately recognized the deliberate nature of the murders and arson, the positioning of the bodies, the use of accelerants, and the methodical preparation suggested a killer with personal knowledge of the victims and a specific motive for the attack. Morrison ordered a complete forensic examination of the scene and began interviewing neighbors and family members. The investigation began with Emma Wellington, who had been brought to the police station after being notified of her family's deaths. Emma appeared shocked and grief-stricken, but Detective Morrison noted inconsistencies in her account of recent events. Emma claimed to have had no knowledge of any problems within her family, yet her behavior and responses suggested she was withholding information. Analysis of Emma's smartphone revealed footage that she had been recording for a school project about family dynamics. The assignment required students to document their family's daily routines over a 2-week period, capturing candid moments that illustrated family relationships. Emma had been secretly filming her parents and their interactions with guests including Sophia Clara. The crucial footage was recorded on September 10th, 4 days before the fire. Emma had hidden her phone in the living room to capture what she thought would be a routine evening with her family. Instead, the camera recorded Marcus Wellington and Sophia Clara engaging in sexual activity on the family couch, while Patricia Wellington was at a school board meeting. The footage clearly showed the faces of both participants and the consensual nature of their interaction. Detective Morrison discovered that Emma had accidentally found this footage when reviewing her recordings for the school project. Phone records showed that Emma had immediately sent a text message to her best friend saying, "Call me now, something terrible happened." However, the recipient of that message was not Sophia Clara, but rather Emma's other close friend, Maya Rodriguez. The investigation revealed that Emma had been aware of the inappropriate relationship between her father and Sophia for at least a week before the murders. Text messages between Emma and Maya showed that Emma had been struggling with whether to tell her mother about the affair. Emma had been torn between loyalty to her family and her friendship with Sophia. Analysis of the smartphone's location data revealed that Emma had been conducting surveillance on her father and Sophia for several days before the fire. The GPS tracking showed that Emma had been following them to various locations, including a motel where they had been meeting regularly. Emma had been gathering evidence of the affair, though her ultimate intentions remained unclear. Detective Morrison discovered that Emma had confronted Sophia about the affair on September 12th, 2 days before the fire. Security footage from the school parking lot showed Emma and Sophia engaged in what appeared to be a heated argument. Lip reading. Experts later confirmed that Emma was accusing Sophia of betraying their friendship and destroying her family. The investigation also revealed that Emma had told her mother about the affair on the day of the fire. Phone records showed a 47-minute call between Emma and Patricia Wellington at 2:15 p.m. On September 14th. Emma had sent her mother the incriminating footage during this call, providing Patricia with undeniable proof of her husband's infidelity. Digital forensics experts found that Emma had been researching divorce lawyers and had been looking up information about adultery laws in California. Her internet search history also included queries about custody arrangements and financial settlements in divorce cases. Emma appeared to have been preparing to help her mother leave her father. Detective Morrison discovered that Patricia Wellington had confronted Marcus about the affair when he returned home from work on September 14th. Neighbors reported hearing raised voices and sounds of a physical altercation coming from the Wellington house around 6 p.m. The argument had lasted approximately 30 minutes before the house became quiet. The investigation revealed that Sophia Clara had been at the Wellington house during the confrontation between Marcus and Patricia. Sophia's car was captured on a neighbor's security camera arriving at the Wellington house at 5:45 p.m. and remaining there until after the fire started. Sophia had apparently come to the house to face the consequences of her actions. Phone records showed that Emma had sent a text message to both her parents at 10:30 p.m., 30 minutes before the fire started. The message read, "I'm sorry for what I had to do. You left me no choice." This message was sent while Emma was still at work, but investigators determined that she had used a delayed messaging app to send the text at a predetermined time. The investigation took a dramatic turn when Detective Morrison discovered that Emma Wellington had not acted alone in planning and executing the murders. Digital forensics analysis revealed that Emma had been communicating with her boyfriend, 18-year-old Tyler Brooks, about the affair and her plans for revenge. Tyler had been encouraging Emma to take drastic action against her father and Sophia. Brooks was a recent high school graduate who had been dating Emma for 8 months. He came from a troubled background with a history of juvenile arrests for vandalism and assault. Tyler had been working part-time at a gas station and had access to the gasoline and other accelerants used in the arson. His criminal history and relationship with Emma made him an immediate suspect. The shocking revelation came when investigators discovered that Tyler had been inside the Wellington house during the murders. Security footage from a neighbor's camera showed Tyler's car parked in the alley behind the Wellington house from 6:30 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. on the night of the fire. Tyler had lied to police about his whereabouts, claiming he had been at home playing video games. Detective Morrison found evidence that Emma and Tyler had been planning the murders for 3 days after Emma discovered the affair. Text messages between them revealed detailed discussions about how to kill the 3 victims and destroy the evidence. Emma had provided Tyler with the key to her house and had given him information about her family's routines and the security system. The investigation revealed that Tyler had killed Marcus Wellington first, using a baseball bat that belonged to Emma's Little League team. Tyler had surprised Marcus in the garage when he returned home from work, striking him multiple times in the head before dragging his body into the living room. The attack had been planned to occur while Patricia was still at her school board meeting. Perhaps most disturbing was the discovery that Emma had specifically requested to work late on the night of the murders to establish an alibi. She had asked her supervisor to schedule her for the evening shift 2 days in advance, claiming she needed extra money for college applications. Emma had been planning the murders while maintaining the appearance of a normal teenager going about her daily routine. The investigation also revealed that Tyler had sexually assaulted Sophia Clara before killing her, fulfilling what appeared to be a twisted fantasy he had been discussing with Emma in their text messages. Emma had encouraged Tyler's violent impulses and had provided him with detailed information about Sophia's physical characteristics and personal habits. Detective Morrison discovered that Emma had been manipulating the situation to ensure that all 3 victims would be in the house at the same time. She had sent text messages to both her mother and Sophia, arranging for them to confront Marcus together about the affair. Emma had orchestrated the confrontation to create the perfect opportunity for Tyler to kill all 3 victims. The investigation revealed that Emma had been planning to inherit her father's construction business and her parents' life insurance. Money. She had researched the legal requirements for inheriting property as a minor and had been in contact with an attorney about establishing a trust fund. Emma's actions were motivated not only by anger about the affair, but also by financial gain. Digital evidence showed that Emma had been documenting her father's business dealings and had discovered that he had been embezzling money from his construction company. Emma had been planning to use this information to blackmail her father, but the discovery of the affair had provided her with what she saw as a better opportunity for revenge. The most shocking revelation was that Emma had been recording her conversations with Tyler about the murder plans. She had been secretly documenting their discussions, apparently planning to use the recordings to implicate Tyler while protecting herself. Emma had been playing a complex game of manipulation, using Tyler to carry out the murders while planning to betray him afterward. Emma Wellington and Tyler Brooks were arrested on October 2, 2023, and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, arson, and conspiracy to commit murder. The prosecution, led by District Attorney Nova Briggs, sought life sentences without parole for both defendants, arguing that the premeditated nature of the murders and the use of fire to destroy evidence warranted the maximum penalty available. For minors. The trial began on February 12, 2024, with Emma's defense attorney, Michael Torres, arguing that his client had been manipulated by Tyler Brooks and had not directly participated in the murders. Torres portrayed Emma as a traumatized teenager who had been emotionally devastated by her father's affair and had been vulnerable to Tyler's influence and manipulation. Tyler's defense attorney, Jennifer Walsh, countered by arguing that Tyler had been acting under Emma's direction and that she had been the mastermind behind the murder plot. Walsh presented evidence of Emma's financial motives and her manipulation of Tyler, arguing that Emma had used Tyler as a weapon to eliminate her family members while maintaining her own alibi. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence of both defendants' involvement in planning and executing the murders. District Attorney Clara showed the jury the text messages between Emma and Tyler, the smartphone footage of the affair, and the digital evidence proving that both defendants had been actively involved in the conspiracy. The trial revealed the extent of Emma's manipulation and planning. Expert witnesses testified about Emma's sophisticated understanding of inheritance law, insurance policies, and legal procedures. The prosecution argued that Emma had been planning to profit from her family's deaths while using Tyler as a scapegoat. For the actual murders, Tyler's testimony was particularly damaging to Emma's defense. He described how Emma had provided him with detailed information about her family's routines, the layout of the house, and the best methods for killing the victims. Tyler claimed that Emma had been the driving force behind the murder plot and had promised to share the inheritance money with him. The trial lasted 10 weeks, with testimony from forensic experts, digital forensic specialists, and criminal psychologists. The prosecution presented evidence of both defendants' premeditation and coordination, while the defense attorneys attempted to shift blame between their clients. Emma's recorded conversations with Tyler proved to be the most damaging evidence against her. The recordings showed Emma discussing specific details of the murder plan, including how to position the bodies and how to use accelerants to destroy evidence. The jury heard Emma's voice calmly discussing the deaths of her parents and best friend. The jury deliberated for 6 days before returning guilty verdicts on all charges for both defendants. Emma Wellington was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, while Tyler Brooks received the same sentence. The judge described the case as one of the most disturbing examples of juvenile violence in the state's history. The trial also resulted in changes to state laws regarding juvenile sentencing and the prosecution of minors who commit multiple murders. The case became a landmark example of how teenagers can be capable of sophisticated criminal planning and manipulation. The case of Emma Wellington and Tyler Brooks exposed the dark potential for manipulation and violence that can exist within seemingly normal teenage relationships. Emma's ability to plan and orchestrate the murders of her parents and best friend while maintaining the appearance of a grieving victim demonstrated the sophisticated criminal capabilities that some adolescents can possess. The investigation revealed that Emma had been planning to profit from her family's deaths while using Tyler as both an accomplice and a scapegoat. Her manipulation of Tyler and her careful establishment of an alibi showed a level of criminal sophistication that shocked investigators and the community. The case highlighted the role of technology in modern criminal investigations, with smartphone footage, text messages, and digital evidence providing crucial proof of the defendant's guilt. the accidental recording of the affair that triggered the murders, demonstrated how technology can both conceal and reveal criminal activity. The community of Riverside Heights struggled to understand how a honor student and apparently normal teenager could have committed such heinous crimes. The case shattered assumptions about juvenile crime and the capacity for violence among middle-class suburban teenagers. The case also raised questions about the warning signs of potentially violent behavior in teenagers and the responsibility of parents, schools, and communities to identify and address concerning behaviors before they escalate to violence. The story of Emma. Wellington serves as a reminder that the most dangerous criminals can be those who appear most trustworthy and normal. Her ability to manipulate both adults and peers while planning multiple murders showed that age and appearance can be deceptive indicators of criminal potential. The case remains one of the most shocking examples of juvenile violence in California history, demonstrating the deadly consequences when teenage manipulation, anger, and opportunity combine to create a perfect storm of violence and destruction.